All right, here we are in our next section, and we are going to start talking about parallelograms. And a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, so it has four sides. Okay, so a parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Okay, so I'm going to put that up here. It's a quadrilateral, so it has four sides. Some angles equal 360 degrees, just like we've been doing everything else. However, there's a couple of other things to know about it. Parallelograms specifically are different from quadrilateral. Well, they are quadrilaterals, but they have some properties that are specific just to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to list 5 of them out. The first one here, if you look at the diagram on the right, if you notice, it has these little tick marks that are marked. And if you remember, those little tick marks tell us something about the diagram. It tells us that this tick mark and this tick mark are the same. And it also tells us that this tick mark and this tick mark are the same. So if we're looking at this and we're going to describe what this means, it means that the sides that are opposite of each other are the same. So let's put that into words here. I would say that opposite sides are equal to each other. Okay, which means if by chance, okay, let's look here. If this side is 8, this side is also going to be 8. If this side is 10, this side is also going to be 10. You can also set up some algebraic equations where you have to set the two sides equal to each other. Okay, so then let's look at the second property here. We've got this angle here with 2 little tick marks in it, and we've got this angle and this angle with 1 tick mark in it. And if you notice, they are across or opposite of each other. And so what we're going to say is that not only are opposite angles equal to each other, but not only are opposite sides equal to each other, but opposite angles are also equal to each other. Okay, now if we move down to the next one, let's just remember here what these little triangles on here mean. Okay, those little triangles said that those lines are parallel to each other, so our top and bottom line are parallel to each other, and our two sides are parallel to each other. So if we were going to put that into words over here on the left, we would say that opposite sides are parallel, hence the name parallelogram. So not only are opposite sides equal to each other, they are also parallel to each other. All right, so if we look down at number 4, okay, let's look at this diagram here just a little bit. All right, going through here, that is what we call a diagonal. And there are 2 diagonals. You got the one I just marked in blue, and we also have the one I'm going to mark in green. They are diagonals. And they intersect at this point here in the middle. And what they do is they make 2 parts that are equal to each other. So if you notice, my blue diagonal is split into 2 equal parts. It has this part, this yellow and this yellow. Those are equal to each other. And we also have the 2 tick marks here. So what we call that, if we are going to describe it in words, is that the diagonals, oops, on a pen, diagonals bisect each other. All that means is they make 2 equal parts. Okay, and then this last one here, you've got 2 angles here. You've got angle A and angle B. And if you think back to when we did a chapter before winter break, we had all of the relationships with parallel lines, and one of them was the same side interior angles. And if you remember, same side interior angles, when you had 2 parallel lines, were supplementary or added to 180. Also in a parallelogram, same thing is true, okay? the same side interior angles, that's just like angle A and angle B over here, add to 180 degrees. So in this picture over here, let's go ahead and add A and B, and then we'll go ahead and add C and D. That's a D. Okay, what we have is angles that are on the same side, so A and B are on the same side, so A plus B, whatever is in those angles, will equal 180 degrees. Okay, if you look, oops, daisies, I did not mean to do that. C and D are on the left-hand side, they're on the same side, so we could say that C plus D equals 180 as well. And let's just get a little trickier here, okay? We also have D and B, they're both on the top, they're both on the same side, so we could also say that D plus B is 180. And then there's one more pair. I want you to think about it and see if you can figure it out on your own, so I'm going to give you a second here. One more pair that would add up to 180. I want you to think about what it is and write it down. Hopefully you said C and A. C plus A equals 180. You could also say C plus A equals 180 degrees, because those are both on the bottom, they're on the same side. Okay, so what you're going to do now is there's 4 questions I want you to try on your own. Okay, so the question is going to ask you what property you used and then write and solve an equation. So if you look at the next slide, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so here we have a parallelogram. And what we want to know, when I say what property did you use, that means in words, which one did you use? So if you went back, you could say opposite angles are congruent or equal, opposite sides are equal. We could say opposite sides are parallel. We could say same side interior angles are supplementary or add to 180. So in words, you're saying, basically saying how you're going to write your equation. So on this first one, I want you to say which property did you use, and then write and solve an equation to find x. And then you're going to do the same thing down below here on the second one, and then there's a couple more on the next page. So please let me know if you're confused on how to explain the property or anything like that. Just let me know. All right, good luck.